What do you do if every time you bring up a concern to your partner, they turn it around and they blame it on you? No matter what you do, you're the one to blame in this scenario. What do you do? How do you approach this situation? I know for me, I used to repress everything. So if I was upset, I would keep it in like a vacuum. I was just taking in all of these things, and then one day I would just explode, and my partner would go, "Whoa, where is all of these things coming from?" Because they had no idea, because I was just repressing my feelings. And what happens when you do that is you erode intimacy, both physical and emotional, because if you don't have emotional, you don't have the physical, and eventually you can't be surprised if the relationship ends. So repressing your feelings, walking on eggshells is not going to get you anywhere. The first thing you need to do is tell your partner that you need to have a difficult conversation with them. Hey, I need to have a tough conversation with you. When's a good time? And the reason you're asking and you're setting the stage for a good time is because let's say your partner comes home and they are angry and overwhelmed and irritated from work. That is not the time to bring up this tough conversation. That's like poking a bear and expecting them not to respond. You need to find a good time for your partner to be in a good headspace, but for you to also be in a headspace. And that's the next part, is that you need to be calm and respectful when you bring up your concern. And when you are angry and you're sad and you're overwhelmed, you cannot problem solve effectively. That part of your brain isn't activated when your emotions are on overload, and it's the same for your partner. So you both need to be calm and you need to pick the right time. Next, you need to come at it with I statements. I feel hurt when this happens. Using I feel statements, and it needs to be an actual feeling, that reduces defensiveness. You need to set boundaries. I need to communicate how I feel and for you to hear me without turning it back on me. After you share, invite their perspective. How do they feel about what you said? What are their thoughts? This can also alleviate misunderstandings, because oftentimes your partner will hear things that you didn't actually say. They'll take it the wrong way. And that's when they get defensive and they go on the attack, is because they're hearing something that you didn't necessarily say. And this is not the time to bring up a totally different concern. Focus on one thing at a time. If your partner decides they want to bring up something that they're upset with, let them know. I care about you. I care about this concern that you have, but right now isn't the right time to address that because we're working on this. Let's set a different time to talk about your concern. Emphasize that the goal is to understand each other better. And know that if you're going to have a difficult conversation that's been built up over time, it might take you a few days to get through this conversation. It's okay to take a break if you need it. If the emotions get high, take a break. You cannot effectively problem solve together if your emotions are high. Take as many breaks as you need. Just communicate that with your partner. Say something like, I'm feeling a lot of heavy emotions right now, and I don't know that I could respond in the way that you need me to. Can we take an hour and come back to this conversation when I've had time to think through my thoughts and calm down? That's what emotional maturity looks like. You're showing empathy and understanding, but you're also asking for what you need and recognizing what you need in that moment. Remember, you can't force your partner to change or fix something that they're doing. You can't force them to do anything. They have to want to do that. And if you're coming at them in a calm and respectful manner and they're still not willing to hear you, that's on them. I created a guide for couples on managing emotions and resolving conflict effectively. You can grab it in my link in bio.